So good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm the Gentleman, and this is a different version of the Gentleman's Pixel Club. We're celebrating Crash 2022. I could only be there for a couple of hours. I had to rush back because of a sickly cat that's certainly on the mend now. So that was a real shame, but it was a brilliant event. I had vibes of Alexander Palace, obviously not the size of it, but vibes of it, of the excitement, the enjoyment that you had there. It was held in the Poundland Stadium, and a football stadium that overlooked effectively a football pitch, and it was a nice suite they had there, and it was a lot bigger than what I expected. So queue in to get in. I was talking to a gentleman and his daughter. She must have been about 8, 9, 10, I don't know, way too young to remember Spectrum games, but they had really done the actual effort in turning up. They had these wonderful Crash hats that were made into crowns they had made, so they both really looked the part and were really taking part there. It was interesting to hear that she actually enjoyed Spectrum games as well. And while talking to her about them, there was another gentleman that was stood behind them, and he introduced himself because I was talking about a game on the Spectrum Next called Trainyard Express, and he actually was involved on the mobile phone version of that game, creating the bonus levels that if you've got an old 32-bit phone in days of old, before iOS got upgraded and everything else like that, you could still download the levels and do the bonus levels that he created. So such a small world for me to be talking about a game, and then someone that was involved in a different version of that game but didn't know about this Spectrum Next version of it to have done bonus levels. So absolutely brilliant. So what can I tell you about the show? Went up there, well organised, queue to get in, very well managed, and it was a lot bigger than what I expected inside. I was expecting, to be honest, a market hall type thing, but it felt so much bigger, and my God, it was really bustling. And the most important person to actually speak about there would be Chris from Fusion Retro Books. The URL is on the bottom there. I back his Kickstarters, and this arrived today, and I've been waiting for this to arrive so I can do this video. And we've got Zap64, we've got the Amiga version of the annual, and we've got Crash, which is the most important one to be showing here. There you go, Crash. And on the back of this, we have the advert for the Gentleman's Pixel Club. So, that has come out really well. So pleased with this. And, I can't thank him enough, and he knows why, for what he does for this channel and the little bits that he's done. So, it was a pleasure to go there and support it, and it's always a pleasure to support his Kickstarters. And if we get a few more viewers from the adverts on the back, then it's been absolutely worthwhile. But you know what? I supported these magazines when I ran another site for fruit machines in the past. It was Desert Island Fruits. I used to put the adverts inside of those. So, it's not new for me to be doing this. It's not solely based on this channel in any shape or form. It's just something that I do, something that I've done. Anyway, got in there, and the first person that I spoke to was Tim Gilberts, and he was a true gentleman. For those of you that don't know him, he did professional adventure writer software, he did the Quill, he did the Illustrator, so he was very heavily tied up in there, and he had the most wonderful annual that you could go through, and this was like a scrapbook type thing he had of memories of Gilsoft that he allowed people to have a look at, and there were some great memories in there. However, one problem: I found a piece of Gilsoft software that I don't have, which is the character, or the characters at least. It looks like it was fonts you could load in. So I'm going to be on the hunt to get that. I also had to look at the other software he had there, and there was the adventure games he published. I used to have them. I lost them long ago. I'm on the world of collecting them, but I do have the most important part, which is the professional adventure writer software. And the key for me here was, he said, spot what's wrong with this, spot's the difference, what is different about this, and he let me have a look at one, and there was actually a version of this that was in a slimline box, a much thinner and much smaller box, which apparently was a reprint. So that was interesting to see. That really was. What else did we do? We walked around, had a look around. This was before I rushed off to deal with my poor cat, and bumped into, as I say, Chris that runs Fusion Retro Books. We had a brief chat. He was walking around with a camera taking video, just capture the experience, because the suite they had was fully loaded. And who else did I speak to? Well, I spoke to Kevin Toms. He's done a Kickstarter for his football game as well, but I spoke to him a lot about software stuff, and fuck me, he is so tall. He is really tall. He must be the tallest man that I've met this year. And he stood up and he's like, oh bloody hell, you kind of look to the moon when you want to look up to him. But no, he was great to have a conversation with, sharing some of the experiences of coding, talking about software stuff. And, I spent probably 10-15 minutes with him, which was absolutely worthwhile. I got to see the 10 from Midnight Brew as well, because I pre-ordered their games, and they came in these little slip cases here, and they've signed the back of them as well, so it's probably can't make it out too well. So there's one there, there's another one here. I did get all 5 of those, so they were good to see. They also gave a little badge. That's not going to come out well, but I got a little Midnight Brew badge. So, and I got that. Some people got chocolates, but they thought, he's fat enough already. He can have a badge. So, walking around, enjoying it, I bumped into the Spectrum Next stand, and you got Enrique who was there, and Mike and the rest of the team there. And he was brilliant to talk to. I actually got a little selfie with him. You could see that effectively up on the screen here. It was a cool thing to do, because you know what? He's revitalized the Spectrum for so many people. And I got some swag as well. So they gave me a Spectrum Next power bank. I have a Spectrum Next USB, and I've got the Spectrum Next badge. And on top of that, oops, I hit the mic there, I also got the Spectrum Next manual. I have one of those, but I got another one. I will never say no to those. So, he was great to have a chat to, and, it was really good to see the newer version of Bags in Space they had there. But, everything was great. As you can see on the video that's playing in the background, it was a really solid experience. So, if you've got any plans next year, if this show happens in 2023 and you've got a plan but you are a Spectrum fan, my recommendation to you is support Fusion Retro Books. Go along to this event. They do fine products. They've been keeping, it sounds crazy, but they've been keeping one part of the scene alive, and this is the quality of books they do. The books that have been going on for years and years, and it now has basically come to this, where Fusion Retro Books own the rights for absolutely everything they do, in terms of nothing's licensed, it all is their own, and they make a quality product. These annuals are really good. You've got good quality print, good quality articles in there, and that they make every effort to bring back the world of yesterday today, and they absolutely hit it out of the park. Also, to be clear, this channel isn't sponsored by anybody. I'm not being paid to do this or anything like that, but this is me sharing my appreciation of Crash Live 2022. And although I was only there for a couple of hours, unfortunately I had to leave when the Spectrum show was kicking off, so there was a live version of the Spectrum show with Paul, and it was real gutting to have to leave there, and that was a real bloody shame. But hey, these things happen, and unfortunately I can't control animals when animals are ill. What else did we do? I brought a bit of shopping. So I've got this version of Saboteur that you can see here. Let's just pick another one at random. This I had no idea what it was, so I got this game here. I do collect original Spectrum games, as you see on the unboxing nostalgia videos that we do, and there will be more of those coming up. I've got one that's kind of half in production, so we'll see that soon. But as I say, this is a bonus video, not the usual video that you do, but I wanted to share how bloody awesome Crash 2022 was. And you know what, I was gutted to be leaving, but you know what, glad that I got the 2 hours rather than no hours. Worth every single penny, worth the petrol to go up there. And I would love to be a volunteer to help them out next year. I think it was absolutely a great thing for everybody that was involved in that. And hey, if you've got any volunteering spaces for anything, I don't care. I'll even direct people on the car park. I will gladly lend my support, but I do want to look around the show as well. But one person that I've missed off, and I've deliberately saved them until the end, is Kim Justice. I had the pleasure of meeting Kim Justice, and she was there playing a game, and I thought, do I say hello? Do I not say hello? And what I've always gone on about this channel is I did this channel as a hobby when, I was sick, when I got diabetes and stuff like that. But, I've been following Kim Justice for years, from the early videos of playing the guitar to some of the shop bits and pieces, looking around retro shops, to, where we are now. And, I am a huge fan of her, and she is an inspiration in terms of the quality that she produces. I will never produce anything nowhere near as good as she does. But she recommended a game when we were sitting in front of a screen, and I had to reach out to her and say, look, what was this game? Because I couldn't, remember what it was bloody called. And she told me, and there was a recent video of that as well. So Kim, I'm sure that you were bored to fuck of people coming up, bothering you and talking to you, but thank you for your time. Thank you for spending 10 minutes with an old guy like me that, you know, is just another casual viewer of your channel in terms of all the hundreds of thousands you've got. But, you know, I appreciated those 10-15 minutes. So, all of you, stay safe. All of you, take care. And I will see you in the next video. And hopefully I'll see you at Crash 2023 if one of those events happens. If it does, I will certainly be there, either sweeping the car park, paying to get in, or whatever it may be. But brilliant, brilliant show. If you've got any fans of the Sinclair Spectrum, this is an absolute must. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Would you like to play again?